All right, guys, so check this out. Super pumped to finally get an opportunity to do a review on the all-new Colorado Trail Boss model. What I love about this truck right off the bat, it looks good. It's got a slight lift on it. You get a little bit of off-road capability. My favorite part, once I get past that, is the value of this truck. For the price, there's not another mid-size truck that gives you a slight lift, looks this good, decent efficiency, and starts at $38,000. This truck has a few upgrades, which adds a few $1,000s to it. So you got the spray and bed liner with the nice bow tie emblem. One of the things I really like about GM's trucks, even at a lower trim level, you still have the slow tailgate drop. Push this down. You still get the neat capability in the tailgate with the storage. Lots of areas to tie down dirt bikes, motorcycles, four-wheelers, lumber, golf clubs, whatever you want in this thing, you could do it. Still got a decent size hitch. These trucks can go up to, I think, just a little over 7,000 pounds towing. Other things I like that they've had in the prior generations, but I'm glad they still continue to do it. Getting in the bed of the truck, I like that access point. These black wheels look pretty decent. It's got some Goodyear Wranglers, Territory, the all-terrain model. What's nice, these are a mud and snow rated 265, 65, 18. So this truck has some decent tires on it. You've got some skid plates. Some other things that I like that GM has added on several of their trucks. If you put your hand down and you run your hand down the bottom of the rocker panel, it's a little rainy. I don't know if you can see this, but you have like this kind of a rough texture in the paint. They put a rocker protection panel style of paint down the rocker panel and down the bottoms of the truck to help with long-term durability and paint and long-term durability and rock chips. I like that. Those are the kind of attentions to details I really like. Nice capless gas cap. Here's the second row. Let's kind of take a look at what it looks like. So being that this is a Trail Boss in a lower trim level, not totally maxed out in options, it is a hard surface on the sides of the doors, but it still has nice storage for a water bottle, cup holder. You still have storage underneath. Still have a little bit of storage underneath the second row. Very nice. HVAC controls in the second row. Sliding rear window. Not a bad looking cloth interior either. Let's look in the front row. So, as I mentioned, this is a hard surface door. It doesn't have a lot of appointry, but this is a soft finish. It's not purely hard like the sides of the doors and right here. You have auto up for driver's window. Very nice. I'm glad at this price point they still offer this. Power mirrors. Here's something I really like it is important. 1,500 pounds of payload in a little mid-sized truck. That's pretty impressive. Not many mid-sized trucks have that number for payload. Actually, a lot of half-ton trucks don't even have that capability. You still have power seats at this price point. You have actually a really nice gauge cluster in the middle, all digital. Really nice gauges for your main display. This truck does not have the dual climate control with this package it's selected, but that is available in other trim levels. Just generally speaking, when you look across the interior, this is a more basic truck, so you're gonna have more hard surfaces, but the layout looks nice. It doesn't look bad. It's still very nice and has a lot of features. You still have ASB, A, C, have your different drive modes. Let's see if this is the same as other models. Yes, very cool. So you have your off-road, normal, terrain, tow haul, then back to off-road. Now, let's see if they have a eco. I'm just guessing. There we go, normal. I can't help but think that is pretty cool that this is a white truck and they had a white truck in the background. This reminds me a lot of the Canyon in the aspects of some of the layout as expected. They both share the same platform. You still have this like nice looking carbon flake rubberized panel for the cup holders and for their end in the second row cup holders. Storage in the middle, not bad. For a mid-sized truck, they're giving you some storage and a nice little storage bin. Really good sized glove box, actually. You're getting actually 6 cup holders in the first row, which is not bad for a truck this size. So this truck does come with start-stop technology, and it looks like this has lane centering or lane keeping, which is nice. I think that's part of one of the safety packages that were added. All right, let's look at the window sticker now. So obviously this is a Trail Boss with the 2.7 liter Turbo Plus. So the Turbo Plus, I need to look up the specs on that. I think that's the lower horsepower option for 2023, but I'm sure it's still got a ton of power. You get the technology package, which gives you the surround vision, which I assume is gonna be 360 camera. Yeah, so there you go. So you got your 360 camera. That's the HD surround. Gives you the convenience package, which gives you the easy lift tailgate and lower gate, power seat for the driver, very nice. Safety package, heated mirrors, tow line, spray and bed liner. Another convenience package, which gets you sliding rear window, defroster. It gives you the larger 220 amp alternator for a grand total of $42,115. So for fuel economy, we're gonna do a little loop today, the standard loop we always do, and we'll be able to kind of compare. Be really curious to see how this truck does. Now, being that this is the basic interior, let's see how the menus are in this. You have your standard tachometer with speedometer in the middle, with your engine trans temp, coolant temp on the right hand side. There's your tripometer, radio, kind of give you some off-road information, steering angles, tells you where your transfer case is at, nice. And then back to just the most simple menu, which is your speedometer in the middle. So for today, we're gonna do the same loop we always do, and we will see what this thing does for fuel economy. All right, so let's go do a little drive. Well, since we can't do a cold start, this specific model doesn't have remote start. It's not an option that was selected. We'll just kind of see the startup sequence and see kind of how the Trail Boss looks. It's not bad. There's a lot of value packed in this little truck, you can tell. Now we're gonna try to see if we can figure out how to reset this trip information. Kind of struggling to figure this part out right here. Okay, I want to share something with you guys because this literally just took me the last 20 minutes to try to figure this out. How do I reset to see this information? To get into seeing your fuel economy, you actually have to go into your menu, go to vehicle status, and then go over to trip, and then select this stuff. So, and then it will put it on the main display. But here's the thing, you can't see trip and fuel economy at the same time. So now if I want to change that, I have to hit that right there. Something to know in these new Colorados. So we're gonna see how this little 4-cylinder turbo feels in the Colorado Trail Boss. I'm expecting this will actually turn out some pretty decent fuel economy, because when I did the same drive review with the same motor in the Silverado 1500, it did really well. So I would expect that the Canyon, being a lighter weight truck, will do even better. Acceleration seems fine. You can tell that it's a 4-cylinder. It's got the unique 4-cylinder sound. But what I appreciate about this engine is the low end torque. You can tell this thing has really good low end torque. We're gonna get to our standardized drive loop now. Gonna reset trip 1, reset trip 2. These menus are kind of neat. Once you get used to it, I actually don't mind it at all, but you do have to get used to it. It's one of those things that intuitively, the way buttons used to be laid out were a little different than on this truck. So anyhow, it is nice though, and I'm kind of getting a little more acclimated to it, and I actually really like this. So first impression, driving down the road. Brake pedal feel, feels good. Throttle feel, feels good. Steering inputs, feels very nice, and it feels nice and solid. I don't get any weird feedback into the steering wheel, and the roads are horrible right now, so that says a lot. These seats are actually really comfortable. I like that. My position of where my elbows and stuff rest feels pretty comfortable. There are some hard points in this. You have to get used to this trim package not having as much comfort as a higher trim level truck would, but this is a solid little truck. Acceleration is not bad either. One thing I wish you could see, I wish you could do your trip and your speedometer at the same time. You can't do that, unfortunately. You just have to look over here and see that information. Okay, so I can say on the highway, we got up to speed, kind of got a little bit of a slow start on the highway. It was kind of behind some slow traffic, but man, this thing comfortably cruises at 73, 74 miles per hour. You can definitely feel that's a sweet spot. Road noise, I'm kind of surprised how quiet it is considering this is a low trim level mid-sized truck. I'm not hearing a lot of wind noise, not hearing a lot of road noise, not hearing a lot of tire noise. I like that. You can definitely tell they've done some great things with the soundproofing in the cabin. These gauges and the layout, it's really nice. The lower trim packages in the Colorado, you have a little bit different display in the IP area. It still shows you all the information you need to see. It just puts it in a little bit different format than some of the others. You can see we've crept up a little bit in speed. And it's funny because, as I mentioned just a second ago, this truck cruises so smooth down the highway, you're gonna find yourself speeding a little bit. So you need to be a little careful. Kind of see right here at 73 miles per hour, no hypermiling, no one behind us, no cruise. Get about 21 miles per gallon, not bad. Okay, gonna get off and we are at the halfway point. So far, I have to say I'm very impressed with the drive mannerisms, the ride quality. It's a nice driving truck. It's got like a sporty feel. I'm not feeling much body roll. Start stop is not engaging. Maybe the engine needs to warm up more. That's weird. We've been driving almost 10 miles and I'm pushing the brake down pretty good. Nope, engine is still on. I'm curious when you get off the ramp here if the start stop actually engages this time. It's not the first time I've seen this on some of the different brand vehicles where the engines have to run for 10 to 20 miles or more before the start-stop technology can actually work in these vehicles. All right, gonna finish up the loop right now. Let's see where we end up at. All right, just pulled back in. Let's see where we ended up at. There we go, 20.1 miles per gallon. Not too bad. So we just proved we outshot the 19 mile per gallon mixed driving that this truck is rated at. I think we could have even done better if the start stop engaged because we had a handful of stops. All right, let's pop the hood. The GM truck does not come with the hood struts. It just comes with the standard prop ride, no big deal. Super quiet powertrain. Doesn't look any different really than the Canyon under the hood. The one thing I noticed that I've said before and I like, look at how much room is between the front of the engine and the radiator. If you had to change pulleys or do any service work to the engine, there's a tremendous amount of room to work on these things. Kind of see the turbo packed back there. Got a lot of decent access underneath the hood. Huge intake on the right-hand side. Got a nice transfer case skid plate. See some of the powertrain. One of the other things I really like about the Colorado and Canyon, this is an E-coated frame, not a wax-coated frame like some of the full-size GM pickup trucks have. So this truck has a lot of features and a lot of capability. So here's my thoughts on this truck. Mid-size trucks are not for me just because I have a family and they're a little bit too small for me, but I like them. I wish they worked for me because I like the size of these things and I think they're great for a lot of people. And for me right now, I think this is one of the best ones in the marketplace. Number one, I think it looks great. I like that it's lifted up a little bit. I really like this 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo. It's been proven to be very durable. It's got a lot of power. This has the second generation 8-speed transmission, which is supposed to be solid. I like the Trail Boss profile of this truck. I think from the price point of this thing is just amazing. And I know to a lot of people, $42,000 for a pickup truck might sound like a lot of money. It's because it is. But a lot of other trucks make $42,000 look like a nice down payment. I mean, some of the new full-size trucks are $105,000, $110,000. So my takeaways for driving this: good power, good fuel economy, great brake feel, great pedal feel, no weird vibrations, comfortable seats, nice technology in the interior. I like that it's got the soft close tailgate. I like the styling of this truck. I like that it's got 4-wheel disc brakes. One of the most premier mid-sized trucks for the last 15 years had drum brakes, and their big bragging feature for the new generation in 2024 is they've entered in having rear disc brakes that most of the competition had for the last 5 or 10 years. Also, another thing, and I'm kind of digging on Toyota right now. Number one, this looks pretty sharp. Curious if the new Toyota has those things right there, because I don't believe you have tow hooks on the front of a mid-sized truck made for off-road, and the Colorado Trail Boss does. Now, where are some of the areas where I would like to see more from? This is not a knock on the custom Trail Boss because this is part of the value of the price point. It does not have LED headlights. These are traditional halogen lights. It doesn't have the soft touch interior that you would see on a higher trim level truck. It doesn't have the premium gauge cluster, but it's still really nice. It doesn't have LED tail lights. It's still not that big of a deal though. And I'll tell you why. Number one, there's a lot of people are starting to wake up to LED lights are not all they're cracked up to be. And this is a little bit of pun intended. Go crack the back of one of these lights and then go crack the tail light on an LED and you're gonna be really disappointed. There's guys on different forums right now with new GM trucks and new Ford trucks that have ran into something, a trailer, whatever, and these are $2,000. Whereas you could get an assembly like this, and I bet I'd be shocked if that's $200. Not to mention another thing, one of the advantages to an halogen light versus an LED light, see that right there, snow. In the wintertime, if you're pulling a trailer like we do, we see a lot of issues with LED lights on the back and on the front of these vehicles where the LED lights don't get warm enough and they hold snow on the outside. It's especially a problem on the front end of these trucks. And I know with this being halogen lights, this is gonna put off enough heat that you won't get snow buildup in the front end for pulling trailers or driving in snowy climates in the winter. So that's a big benefit. So for me, I give this truck 2 big thumbs up for sure. I think anybody would be very happy with one of these trucks. It looks good, it's got a great powertrain, it's got a great stance, and it packs a lot of value and punch for the money. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope to get some more footage of the Colorado Trail Boss, and maybe we'll get some towing in the future. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.